Next item on our agenda is the town of Dyer for the Hart ditch, two-stage ditch. They have presented to us once and now they revised their application, and Thomas Burke is here to sort of go over those revisions and probably just highlight some of the things of the project. That's it.
You see it, Dan?
I got it.
All right, this is Bill's project as well, Surveyor Emerson. So this is the Hart Ditch, two stages project. The Surveyor's Office, Town of Dyer, Franciscan Health are all involved. Just as a reminder, this street here is Hart Street. We're just south of US 30 in the town of Dyer. The Dyer Town Hall is just right around here. The hospital is just to the left of this. Hart Ditch goes from southwest to northeast with this picture. And everywhere in green is where it's part of what we're considering a two-stage ditch, where we're going to create 15 acre-feet of storage on Hart Ditch. The Hart Street Bridge was just replaced by the county. The highway department and the county acquired these three green homes, and they've been demolished. There's 4 more homes to be acquired that the town is working on as far as this project goes. And just to show you a comparison, so the two-stage ditch is a picture of it is on the left. Compared, it's about $1,140 per linear foot compared to, we looked at the recent Hart Ditch projects we've done, it was about $1,065 a linear foot. Obviously, when we're working in this area in Dyer, we have a lot more land to be used. We're not right up against homes, so that's why we're recommending the two-stage ditch. And it's a $3.1 million project. As I said, the highway department's already purchased some of the homes. There's $2.4 million between the hospital, the surveyor's office, and the Dyer Stormwater Board. There's a $100,000 Lake Michigan Coastal Program grant we have, and we're requesting $600,000 from the Little Cal.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Can you go back to the beginning and talk about the area that you are protecting again?
The area that we're protecting is, sure.
Yeah, Mr. Burke, leave that aerial up. That'll be great for helping us talk through some of this stuff.
Okay. So the area that we're protecting, the surveyor's office just did the south. So here's Hart Street. Here's Hart Ditch that goes underneath it. The surveyor's office just completed stabilization on Hart Ditch right here on the south side. So this will protect the area on the north side, as well as creating a lot of storage, as well as it's in bad shape in several of these locations, all the way along here, all the way up to the pedestrian bridge that crosses Hart Ditch from the Dyer Town Hall to the Plum Creek Center up here. So all of this area will be fixed and improved. There's already been some projects downstream of here that's been done before you get to US 30, but this area is to improve the entire length from basically where the hospital left off to the pedestrian bridge that crosses the Plum Creek Center.
So, Mr. Burke, I noticed that this is kind of what you call it, tiered, or as opposed to riprap. I mean, who's going to maintain and mow the grass and make sure there's not another Fragbite farm? Is that part of the program?
That would be between the town and the surveyor's office. You're correct, but what we're planning, we're not going to have it mowed like this. The plan is to put a pedestrian path. See the pedestrian path right here that comes over here? Is to take that and bring it down through here and either return it back here, or if it's possible, go underneath the new bridge and bring it to the hospital, because the hospital has walking paths. So either we have to cross the road right here, or we're going to bring it underneath the bridge. But to answer your question, there's not going to be a mowed area as much. We're going to put in some native plants, but you're absolutely right that it will have to be maintained. We'll have to have a budget to maintain it. But I think between the town and the surveyor's office, that will be accomplished. Just like the town handles a lot of their projects now that have to have ongoing maintenance. But we're not planning on mowing a lot of it. For the water quality benefits, we're going to put in native vegetation, and we're also going to be using a lot of trees at the bottom. The trees that are being taken down to construct this storage will be used in at the base of the project. I think it will be a great demonstration project for the county.
Well, and as you know, one of the reasons that we're here is, people are great at building it. They're not so great at maintaining it. So as a part of the overall project, is there a perpetual funding source for the maintenance of this segment, or is it just going to be an ongoing, it's the Little Cal, it's the town of Dyer, and it's the county?
You're correct, Mr. Baker, that it would be the entities, but there has not been a set funding mechanism set up. If that's your question.
Thank you.
Is there an approximate maintenance budget that you guys would anticipate necessary to keep it from failing down the road?
I think if you spent $5,000 to $7,000 a year, it would be very well maintained. Well, I assume that if a major storm event comes, we're gonna get sediment up there. We're gonna get sediment on the shelf, and if you have a pedestrian path, Dyer Public Works is gonna have to come through and clean it. So I'm not including that. That's gonna happen when it happens. But I'm just talking about regular maintenance. I would think certainly $5,000, $7,000, $8,000 a year would be more than sufficient to maintain it.
And given the history of events, what is the inundation percentage of the storage area?
So I'm going to flip back to this picture right here. So it's meant to, the low flows are all contained within the channel. And once you get above, say, like the 2-year to 5-year event, it's going to overtop into the shelf. And that's where we want it to come out. So we expect it to happen frequently, but it's not the large, more sediment loads that are carried are not as frequent like that we've seen upstream of this area. There's a shelf where we see sediment drop every time there's a large storm event, but not every time that it's overtopped. So it's less frequent, but again, I don't know if we can predict it. We've seen it twice now in 2007, 2008. We also saw it in I believe it was 2017. So I would certainly want to say it's going to be once every 100 years. That's for sure.
So if you go back to the previous slide that you show the overall plan view, this one, what is the stage 2 limit, boundary limit, I guess? Is that on
Which
the
yellow
outside?
line?
Yes. So the green area that you see, most of the green without yellow, is really the flat area. It's sloped down. The edge of the white that you see here is the edge of the channel, the ditch. And then this would be flat, and then we go up on that slope, 3-to-1 slope. The other part of this is it takes the berm that protects the hospital and wraps it around right here to Hart Street and protects the hospital for continuous protection they don't have right now.
Okay, so really in that picture, the picture with the shelf where you show the shelf shows a relatively narrow shelf. This plan view shows a much wider shelf in my mind from just looking at graphic. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The picture that I showed might be right here,
Right.
narrower, but in this area here and these area back here, it's much wider. And
Okay.
Here, correct.
And then I have one last question. Have you guys done an analysis of if this project was in place in 2008, the impact it would have had on the hospital and surrounding community?
Yes, there's a localized benefit where the 2008 was greater than 100-year, but the 100-year flood event drops by about 0.7 feet. And if the hospital had 3/4 less of a foot flowing through the emergency room, that would have been obviously very significant. I haven't put dollars to that, but I think they still would have gotten some water, but 3/4 of a foot less would be significant for them. But this berm that we're tying into will protect them to something greater than 2008.
And I'm assuming if you would have another event that this would help with flood fighting efforts?
Correct. Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions
Thank
for Mr. Burke? Because obviously, Mr. Burke, we're very cognizant of the entire run of Hart Ditch, and this is the beginning, and you see what happens at the end. So all the sediment ends at the bottom, down at Wicker Park and Hammond at the high velocity channel. So any ways that we can see how that would tie together all the way through the process is beneficial for a big picture approval. That's for sure.
Yeah.
My opinion.
I think this stops that all those, some of those banks that are just dropping off sediment right now. Every time there's a major storm event, these banks are, if you look along the south side of this bank, it's complete sand that's just being eroded away constantly. Trees are falling in. So this will help a large stretch of it, in addition to what the surveyor's office did on the south side of and west side of Hart Ditch last summer.
So because the shelf is relatively wide and relatively flat, you're saying in a high, let's say high-ish water inundation or rain, precipitation event, a lot of the sediment would maybe be caught on the shelf.
That's
Is
correct.
that okay?
Okay, I can't see everybody, so is there any other questions for Mr. Burt? Be there none. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it very much.